Hello everyone! Last year, TikTok was taken over by a challenge where different objects or people sang the chorus of the famous hit Someone Like You by Adele. If you haven't seen it, it might sound like nonsense. But for some inexplicable reason, these videos are actually quite funny. Today, we found some videos that fit this challenge perfectly. It's a shame no one used them back then. Today, we'll see different videos of animals or people that got together in one place. Surprisingly, it looks much more interesting than you might think. Imagine you are driving your car or riding a bus when suddenly you notice a huge flock of ducks on the road. Sounds like a weird nightmare, right? Still, in the Chinese city of Taizhou, this is relatively normal because here lives a farmer who likes to walk with his animals. One day, the man decided to walk with his ducks downtown. With the help of a stick and a couple of helpers, he gathered 5,000 birds and went for a walk. Needless to say, when the ducks reached the busy city road, the drivers were outraged. Who would like to see 5,000 ducks crossing the road in the middle of the day? But at the same time, many drivers got out of their cars to watch this strange parade. The destination of this mass migration was a large lake about 1 kilometer from the road. For the farmer, this journey has long become a habit. He told journalists that he knows how to control his birds and has never lost a duck in many years. The COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected almost every country in the world, impacted national economies very hard. But in Pakistan and India, this crisis was compounded by another problem, a major locust invasion. This natural phenomenon seriously threatens food security in both countries. By the end of May, these voracious insects had already destroyed crops in 60 districts of all the 4 provinces of Pakistan. Locusts are known to eat literally everything in their path, from tree bark to seeds and flowers. In this case, they've destroyed cotton, sugarcane, orchid, and vegetable crops. This catastrophe has occurred for the first time in many decades, and the potential losses are estimated at nearly $4 billion. The situation in India is no better. The locust infested entire states. State agencies are trying to save the crops by using chemicals, but this has not been enough. After all, a single locust swarm can destroy a farm field in minutes. This is especially dangerous, since locusts can travel up to 300 kilometers in a single trip. The insects do this regularly by flying over the Red Sea. In addition, the nearest African countries, where famine is already a widespread problem, are also at risk. Did you know that many butterflies often spend the cold months in faraway lands, just like birds do? In other words, they migrate to warmer regions and countries. The world's most massive insect migration is considered to be the annual journey of about 1 billion monarch butterflies from the US and Canada to the Mexican state of Michoacan. This journey totals an average of 4,500 kilometers. You're probably wondering how these insects manage to make this huge journey without getting lost? It's quite simple. The bodies of the butterflies are equipped with a navigation system, similar to a compass, that allows them to know the location of the Earth's magnetic pole and fly in the right direction. To help the butterflies during the winter and to preserve their temporary residence, the Monarch Butterfly Biosphere Reserve was created in Mexico, covering more than 55,000 hectares. In this video, you can see this place. This panoramic view was recorded by small cameras inserted in the body of a hummingbird robot. The number of butterflies on the tree branches is so great that they completely cover the trees. When watching this video, a person with vision problems will probably think they're seeing a forest in autumn on a windy day. Remember the famous terracotta army in China? It seems to have come to life. Although in a slightly updated version, you're looking at Chinese farmer Sang Qingjun, who takes daily walks with 70,000 roosters and chickens. It looks like the farmer is going into some kind of battle to save the world. In this video, you can see Sang's animals running behind his tractor and overcoming all kinds of obstacles. Of course, to do this, the birds had to train hard. The farmer admits that he forces the birds to walk about 10 kilometers a day to keep them in great shape. The owner of the birds also teaches them to fly. Contrary to popular belief, chickens know how to do it, even though they can only fly small distances. Curiously, after several of his videos were posted online, Sang quickly became an internet star. Users praised him for giving the birds so much freedom instead of locking them up in an enclosure. The Chinese farmer's popularity quickly reached such proportions that he even opened his own online store. Now Sang dreams of increasing his winged army to 300,000 birds. Mayflies are some of the oldest insects in the world. The peculiarity of these creatures is that they only live for one day. Well, almost. First, the larvae live in the water for 2 years. After this period, the caterpillar turns into something like a butterfly, rises to the sky, finds a mate, and returns after the deed. Also, this is a massive natural phenomenon. So in some American states at certain times of the year, the streets and cars are literally coated in dead insects. This often occurs in the regions adjacent to Lake Erie, in the east coast of the United States. Occasionally, an entire army of mayflies leave the lake to breed, and residents of Ohio and other areas have to prepare for the arrival of these annoying visitors. Incidentally, mayflies also increase the chances of traffic accidents, but not because they cover up cars. The reason is that the asphalt becomes slippery because of these creatures, similar to what happens after an ice storm. By the way, similar situations occur with other insects. We're sure this story will surprise you. A few years ago, a swarm of 20,000 bees surrounded the car of a Welsh grandmother while she was shopping at a nearby shopping center. But the reason was not the migration of these incredible creatures.
Run.
The fact is that a queen bee got trapped by accident in the trunk of the car, and the inhabitants of the hive tried to locate their queen for 2 days in a row. You probably know that in a beehive there is always a queen bee that is responsible for reproduction and lives separately. The other two types of bees are drones, which mate with the queen bee, and worker bees. Therefore, the death of the queen usually means the death of the entire hive. It's therefore not surprising that the insects in this story were so eager to be reunited with their monarch. For a long time, Red Bull has been much more than an energy drink. Over the years, the company has sponsored and organized numerous competitions, especially in extreme sports. In addition, they choose incredible locations for the tournaments, including picturesque cliffs for diving or mountain slopes for paragliding. The company shot this fantastic video at a cranberry farm in Wisconsin. The idea is simple: wakeboarding on a huge lake with millions of red berries on the surface. You might be surprised to see that this place is full of cranberries. You probably think it's the way this berry grows, but it's actually how they harvest it. First, the field is flooded with water. Then a small tractor goes through it, cutting the cranberries, which then rise to the surface. The reason is that the cranberries are empty inside, and the experts at Red Bull made this show even more spectacular by adding an extreme twist. Here, you can see the result. The company says no cranberries were harmed during filming. You probably stole candy at least once in your childhood, because there's nothing better than having a secret stash of candy, right? Well, not only children love candy. Collecting candy pieces is a popular hobby among adults. Bob Brown from Fishers, Indiana, decided to combine these two passions and put together the largest collection of candy bars and other sweets in the world. The guy succeeded, and today, Brown's collection contains about 1,300 pieces, kept in their original packaging. You can find all kinds of candy, from the most famous to very unusual candies. For example, with cayenne pepper, bacon, or cornflakes. Bob even decided to try his luck and approached the Guinness World Records educators to see if they were interested in his incredible collection. Amazingly, in 2010, the renowned organization registered Bob's unusual record, the first of its kind. Bob came up with the idea of starting his collection by accident. One day, he thought about how many childhood memories were associated with different foods, mainly sweets. He noticed that many of the sweets he liked in school were no longer available on the market, so he decided to take on the mission of preserving the memory of his favorite sweets for future generations. Some skydiving enthusiasts prefer to jump in a group because it is easier, more fun, and more enjoyable, especially because more experienced skydivers can also create different shapes with their bodies. But if usual group skydivers involve 4 or 5 professionals, then Red Bull decided to push the limits and perform an incredible experiment. With the help of the company, a group of 164 professional skydivers gathered in the city of Ottawa, Illinois. First, the athletes rehearsed the jump on land. They had to build a complex figure in the form of a circle with 10 branches. Then the skydivers jumped and performed the complex acrobatic trick in free fall at a speed exceeding 380 kilometers per hour. The incredible action was recorded by several cameras, and later officially recognized as the world record for a tandem skydive. The professionals told that the preparation process takes a lot of time. The main problem is that the figure is built in the air in stages, so all the skydivers must know their place and calculate every movement. If one of the participants makes a mistake, then the whole formation will be ruined. The process of creating the shape takes a minute or so. The skydivers do not jump out of the plane at the same time. The first group jumps at an altitude of 2,300 meters, and the main group jumps after more than 3 kilometers. The amount of time is necessary for the athletes to have time to form the frame of the figure in the air. In order for the trick to be performed, the skydivers had to rehearse about 40 or 50 times. Red hair is a trait that has fascinated humans since ancient times. Some have admired the beauty of red hair, while others have demonized it. For example, in Celtic mythology, witches were usually depicted with red hair, and in some countries, the silly idea that redheads have no soul still exists. In any case, people who were lucky enough to be born with red hair probably feel special. After all, there are no more than 1 or 2% of redheads in the world, but there are a couple of places where this doesn't surprise anyone. For example, the city of Tilburg in the Netherlands, which annually brings together thousands of red-headed men, women, and children. Every year, the incredible Redhead Days festival is held here. People from all over the world meet, have fun, and realize that they are not alone in the world. The program of the event looks exciting, but not anyone can take part of the celebration. You must have natural red hair, otherwise you won't get in. Perhaps one of the most classic scenes in action movies is a character in flames trying to run and put out the fire at the same time, but the only result is that the flames get bigger. You've probably seen this kind of scene in hundreds of movies, but you probably haven't seen anything like this. These scenes show an incredible Guinness record: 32 burning people walking simultaneously through a square in Cape Town, South Africa. Each of them had to walk like that for at least half a minute. We strongly advise you not to try to repeat this at home, as the persons who performed this dangerous trick are professional stunt people. That's why it looks so impressive.